Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of AKP Sports Talk. As always, I'm Ari here with Korea. Another week of sports betting, another weekend passes by. We had the Euros start, obviously, on Friday. Another weekend of baseball. We got the NBA Finals Game 5 tonight. Um, so let's get right into a recap of Friday. Korea, you started off with the winner on Friday with Germany minus 1.5. What were your takeaway from that game? And then how did your betting in Euros go over the weekend as well?
Yeah, obviously, Germany minus 1.5. That was a great look. 5-1 win. I mean, when Scotland went down to 10 men by half and they were already down 3-0, I kind of already knew it was already over. So I didn't really have to worry that much. Germany got some early goals, obviously, from Wirtz. And then obviously Havertz with the penalty, I think late in that first half, it was definitely, just adding on, to the score. Definitely was a sweat-free winner as well. So not really too worried about that one. And then throughout the weekend, obviously, I actually had a really great weekend in terms of the Euros. Croatia kind of sold me on both teams to score. England couldn't get another goal. Albania, that was the most legacy cover I've ever seen in my life. Scoring in the first 30 seconds, that was incredible. But today, we're I was gonna give out a play, but we're having a rough day, unfortunately. So we're gonna look to tomorrow's plays, but so far the futures, looking pretty decent. Obviously Portugal and France have not played yet. France plays later today. And the Netherlands obviously had a goal. It was a little shaky at first, but they got the win against Poland yesterday, 2-1. So obviously they're right now at top of their group. So that's good right there. But obviously I had a 1-0 day for me on Friday. Ari, how did you do wrapping up last week?
Yeah, 1-1 day for me, but the one win was the plus money play, so obviously we'll take that. Padres was a tough one. They lost 2-1. Matt Waldron did his thing, 7 innings, 2 runs, but I think Mania went 5 innings for the Mets, and then their bullpen. I think he gave up the 1 run, if I'm not mistaken. Mania, yeah, he gave up the 1 run, and then they got 4 shutout from their bullpen. So I talked about the total being low for that game with how poorly Mania been pitching, and so obviously it's low for a reason, and it soared under. Then the Guardians won 3-1 over the Blue Jays. I thought that they could get more runs, but they got 3 off Gosman, which wound up being enough. I talked about how I didn't like Logan Allen, but the Blues lineup at that point was not one that I trusted, especially or I guess yeah, just like in that moment, they ended this weekend well with a big win yesterday on Sunday. Obviously, this was Friday. Logan Allen gave him 5 innings, and Cleveland's bullpen is always trustworthy when you can have a lead through 5 or 6 innings. Usually. So yeah, 1-1 day, but obviously you take it when the one win is the plus money play.
Yeah, and I think I remember I was talking about the first five, and I remember seeing the first five being like I think plus 120 or plus one, and that's obviously that was the winner because those were 3 early runs from the Guardians. Didn't have to worry, about anything else. So obviously both winners for us on the first five and the full game money line. I was also on the Padres as well. Unfortunate they couldn't come through with their offense. Obviously we talked about mostly backing Matt Waldron on in that start. But the Padres offense couldn't really come through. You mentioned Mania going 5 strong, and then the bullpen kind of did the rest of the work. So even though a tough loss with the Padres, a plus money hit for us as well for you. To kind of wrap up the weekend. 2-1 weekend, 2-1 Friday for us. Definitely will not complain about that. But obviously, we're gonna get started this Monday. We do obviously we know Game 5 of the. Thank God we got a Game 5. I mean, we were talking about potentially there not being a Game 5 on Friday, but the Mavs did get that big win on Friday, so game forcing Game 5 tonight. But I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna go stick to Philly here and the Pirates. I'm calling this the Pennsylvania first five, people. We're taking the Pirates and we're taking the Phillies, obviously both teams that are in Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. And we're taking the first five. And we're taking them on the money line. We're getting that at plus 117 for the 2 legs here. Look, the only reason, right, we're backing these two, we're backing the Pirates because it's Paul Skeens at home against obviously the Reds, who obviously know how to hit, but it's Paul Skeens at home. Like shall I say more? And then for the Phillies, we're fading Randy Vasquez because that guy stinks. That's really it here. And, I didn't really want to take either one because I knew both were going to be kind of juiced with both money lines already being juiced themselves. So I just knew that both of these teams would probably get to a lead through 5 innings here. And that's mostly what we're going to be targeting here. For the other side, for Cincinnati, they do have it's mostly a bullpen day. They have Carson Spires. I don't know who's getting the bulk of the work. He might be getting a majority of it. He's gone about at least three innings, his most recent appearances for the Reds, but he's going to be getting the start for this for this Reds team. And all we're kind of backing here is mostly this Pirates team to keep things close here. If they do get out to if a lead, that would be preferable, but we're mostly backing the Pirates to at least not be losing through 5. So hopefully at least they push, which kind of leads us to the Phillies here through the first 5 as well, mostly fading Randy Vasquez. Christopher Sanchez has good numbers against this Padres team, and he obviously is a lot better at home. Obviously, coming off a bounce back appearance. In his last appearance against Boston, he only went 4 innings, 4 runs, 2 Ks. They pretty much beat him up throughout the first 5. I kind of expected that. He does struggle, on the road sometimes, and he's a lot better at home. Especially against teams that struggle against the lefties, and the Padres tend to struggle on the road right now, especially with how their offense is pretty inconsistent. They just got swept by the Mets, and I'm not really backing this team right now on the road. And the Phillies, obviously, they're coming off a series loss in Baltimore. To come back home, obviously, to the bank where they're usually more dominant. I'm just taking them through 5, fading Randy Vasquez, who's not good at all. And then the Pirates were mostly back in Paul Skeens here. Obviously at home, he's one of the best pitchers right now in terms of obviously his fastball, consistently being over 100 miles an hour. Obviously, leading the NL Rookie of the Year candidates with, him and all the Livy Dunn stands and in the fans, cheering him on. We're going to be backing the Pennsylvania first 5. I'm calling it, with the Pirates and Phillies first 5 money line plus 117. That's my one and only play for you. Going back to the MLB after a day with the Euros. But Ari, what have you cooked up for this Monday?
Yeah, I've just got 2 MLB first 5 plays. Staying away from the NBA Finals. Rooting for Dallas, hoping that they can keep the series going, but I'm staying away from it betting wise. Start off with the Cubs. Javier Assad on the mound at home, where he has an ERA of like 1.6 or 1.67, something like that. Facing off against the Giants and Jordan Hicks. The total's pretty high, which is a little bit surprising with how well both pitchers have been playing. Like even Hicks, he's been slightly worse on the road than at home, but he's still been solid away from home. I haven't looked at weather. Maybe it has to do with the winds or whatever at Wrigley tonight.
I was literally about to say, I think I checked the weather last night, and you always got to check Wrigley weather, home games, and the weather, and it's like hot and sunny. It's perfect, and the wind is blowing out. I think it's like 10 or 15 miles an hour. So it's probably that. So it's probably just solely because of the fact that the wind is going to be blowing out.
Yeah, that's usually baked into the line, when the wind's like that at Wrigley. But I'm just backing Assad at home. I thought about the first 5 under as well, because you get like 5.5 at like minus 115, with these 2 pitchers. So I thought about that, but I just wound up going with just backing the Cubs on the ML in the first 5 in Assad. And like we talked about last week when it was, Cubs Rays, I don't want to mess with the Cubs bullpen. So just going with the first 5 in Assad. So there's that. And then going to the Blue Jays first 5, Kikuchi and Pivetta. I went minus 0.5 because my line was like minus like 140, which, you could take obviously, but I'll take minus 0.5. Interestingly enough, there's a lot of Blue Jays players with a lot of success against Nick Pivetta, who's starting for the Red Sox. I'm not sure if Pichette's playing. I think he's day-to-day, but he's 10 for 31. Kiermaier's 5 for 20. Alejandro Kirk's 4 for 12. Springer's 10 for 27. So there's some potential looks maybe for player props of the Blue Jays today as well. But I'm just going with the Blue Jays that they had a big win yesterday against Cleveland. They won 7-6. So, maybe that'll get their offense going, that kind of game like that. Kikuchi's been pitching well for the most part overall this year. So yeah, I'm just backing the Blue Jays coming off a big win, hoping they can carry that kind of momentum offensively from yesterday into this game against Pavetta, who they've had a lot of success against. And then, just hoping that they can be leading after 5 innings today over Boston, who's also coming off a series win over the Yankees, obviously Sunday night from this weekend. So.
Yeah, obviously, you mentioned the Cubs. Sorry, I was watching the Belgium game.
Did you see they scored and they called offsides?
Yeah. That's been my luck today. But the Cubs first 5, obviously, that definitely was a look. You mentioned the first 5 under. I actually was more liking the first 5 under. Kind of backing Jordan Hicks. But at the same time, you mentioned Javier Assad being better at home. The bigger question is Jordan Hicks, but he is as the reliever turned starter now. He has emerged as one of the better pitchers of the Giants bullpen now starting rotation. So I do like the first 5 money line as well, backing the home team through 5. You mentioned the high total just because the fact the wind is slightly going to be blowing out at Wrigley, and obviously highs when the wind is blowing out, obviously the totals are going to be high. So that's why that's probably why the first 5 money line is definitely a lot safer at -125. So I do like that play for you. Cubs with the Cubs first 5. I'm on the first 5 under. So, hopefully that both hits for us. And then you mentioned the Blue Jays first 5 minus half a run, not taking the money line just because it's getting a little juice. So I do like that play for you as well. Kind of just backing the Jays here. You mentioned all those players, guys like, Bichette, who's unfortunately day to day. Oh my.
Wide open goal.
Oh, if that's Lukaku, man. Oh, if that's Lukaku, he's gonna get flamed on Twitter, I swear. But the Blue Jays. Look, you mentioned Springer, Kirk, you mentioned Bichette, Vladdy. All the guys on the lineup have great numbers against Pavetta, and Pavetta is on the road, who is not that great as well. And you mentioned backing Kikuchi at home. Hopefully he got his sleep. We always talk about Kikuchi and the sleep factor. It is real, people. Oh my God, that's so sad. Right in front of the goal. How do you miss that? Oh man. Oh man, I'm sorry. I'm investigating who this is.
Good. Yeah, you're good.
But okay. But it was a tough one. But yeah, Blue Jays first 5. I love that. I'm on the Jays today as well. You mentioned just all those guys as well. Kikuchi at home. We as well, the Kikuchi sleep factor. Kikuchi at night games is all. It's weird. In night games, he's a lot better than day games, and obviously this is going to be a night game. So just backing the Blue Jays to be leading through 5, I love that play, and you're getting it at even money. I think that's a lot. I think that's a better money for your wrist right there. Just backing the Blue Jays to have a lead there and not really hoping for a tie or them losing, especially with the money line being that juice. So those are your 2 plays with the Cubs first 5, not having to worry about the bullpen, and then the Blue Jays first 5 minus half a run, backing them to have a lead, and then the Pennsylvania first 5, backing the Pirates with Paul Skeens at home against the Reds, and the Phillies first 5, fading Randy Vasquez, who is one of the worst pitchers for that San Diego rotation, backing the Phillies at home after they just lost that series in Baltimore. You get that parlay at plus 117. You can find these 3 plays on our Twitter below, AKP Sports Talk. That is our Twitter below. But as already said, we are hoping that this NBA Finals does not end tonight, because obviously we would like to see this be pushed to a Game 6, Game 7. So hopefully that does happen. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. That's Ari. I'm Korea. Win some money today. We will see you tomorrow. Peace out, guys.